Where's your warrant, Howie?
Get up. Where are the drugs?
Someone's coming.
What are you doing here?
It's my precinct, Howie. We got a 911 call. What are you doing here?
Got a tip on a coke deal.
Well, why didn't you call for backup then?
There's no time, Carl. They're moving the stuff today.
That's hilarious.
Oh, very nice self-control there, Howie. The anger management sessions are really helping, I can see. Look, will somebody get that dog out of here? Somebody, you, get the cuffs off of him. All right. Now, what happened here?
This clown posed as a cable repairman to plant evidence in my bathroom. Then he got the narcotics team to come find it.
Howie,
He's lying, Carl. There's coke somewhere in this house.
I'm a lawyer in the middle of a murder trial. We have reason to believe our client was set up by the police. And by the way, you might want to ask him where his warrant is.
Who the hell is running your office, Mr. Klein? How is it possible you didn't know about this?
I was never told. I assure you, heads will roll.
Yeah, maybe yours.
It's all over the papers, Your Honor. I'm very concerned how it's going to affect my client's trial.
So am I, Mr. Midriani. Be so kind as to let me handle it, okay? Paper trail of incompetence. This begins with you, Chief Hansen. Your reliable informant came up with squat. I want him in my office first thing in the morning.
I'm not sure the court has jurisdiction in this matter, Your Honor.
You just get him in here, okay, Chief? We'll chat about jurisdiction over tea. If the jury gets wind of this, I'll bury you both with the roadkill. Now get the hell out of here.
Appreciate it, Your Honor.
You look different.
Oh, yeah. Shaved off my mustache.
Should have shaved your skull.
What's your problem, Rossetti?
Why'd you rough up my sister?
She keeps bad company, butthead. All right. You better choose what side you're on, little brother. Word is they were employees for Anne Arundel Marine Services working as drug couriers. Extra cash, buy the big screen TVs.
Did the cops do the head? Oh, what does the DEA think?
Who says the DEA thinks? The best evidence is there is no evidence. Nobody hides evidence better than the cops. You see that? She's looking at me again. I think she likes me.
I think she really likes you, Leo. What about who killed Brittany Hill?
You know what I think? There are two MOs here. One is somebody got jealous of her sleeping around. Two, she's threatening somebody for something that she wants bad, more than a job.
Like what?
Like, I don't know. Hell, I'm good, but I'm not Kreska. Okay, I'll be right back. Hey, how do I look?
Swell.
I hate this place.
This is stupid, Howie. We don't know where it is.
Yeah, but he knows where it is. He's gonna go after it sooner or later. See that? Next door neighbor's roof. Come on, let's go.
Nah, you go. It's too damn cold.
You lightweight.
You have to jiggle it. Good night, Howie. Detective Stovall, when you entered Brittany's apartment that night, you said the place was a shambles, that there'd obviously been a fight. Would you elaborate on that, please?
Judging from the evidence, it probably began in the bedroom.
How many times did the victim's head strike the coffee table?
Forensics would probably give you a better answer, but I'd say 8, 9 times at least. Probably more. It was a mess in there.
Objection.
Sustained.
Thank you.
Detective, in your opinion, was Brittany Hill an attractive woman?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Did she hide it?
Oh, no. I'd say just the opposite.
Did any of her Vice Squad buddies have intimate relations with her?
I don't know.
You don't know? You didn't check?
There was no reason to check.
Well, what would have been a reason? A habit of murdering their girlfriends?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. Watch it, Mr. Medriani.
Let me get this straight, Detective. You've just described a murder of inconceivable violence, and yet none of these young studs in Vice were
Objection.
ever...
He is characterizing men the jury does not even know.
Sustained.
None of these gentlemen that Brittany worked with almost every day were ever questioned about their personal relationships with her? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yet when you saw Judge Acosta's name on her calendar, a man old enough to be her father and a well-respected judge, he became the easy and the high-profile target. Is that correct?
No, it wasn't like that.
Well, you knew that the grand jury was riding pretty hard on the police department and that Judge Acosta was presiding, correct?
Yes.
And did that influence your investigation at all?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Okay. Not at all. Detective, in your opinion, why do you think the killer took the body from the apartment and threw it in the dumpster?
I have no way of knowing. Maybe he panicked.
Did you say panic?
Yeah, panicked.
Panicked. Maybe he panicked. So let me get this straight. On the one hand, you have a killer who's so panic-stricken that he leaves a virtual war zone of destruction, trashes the body, and yet at the same time, clear-headed enough to eliminate all of the fingerprints. How do you explain that contradiction, Detective?
I can't answer that.
Neither can I. It makes absolutely no sense at all.
Objection, Your Honor.
No more questions.
Thank you, Mr. Medriani.
How do you think the case is going? Well, until the defense presents its side, it's hard to tell. But all Klein has is the calendar with your husband's name on it, and that doesn't prove he was there.
He was not there.
Of course not.
Armando told me that your brother was involved with Brittany. I'm sorry. Is it possible that your brother knows anything about Brittany's death?
Nothing that we don't already know.
Yeah, but sometimes there's some little thing, some detail. You can talk to him.
I have.
But you could ask him.
Mrs. Acosta, I have.
Evening, Mrs. Rossetti.
Hey, it's Paul. Court was real grim. Give me a call, I'll be up late.
I'd like to report a burglary.
So nothing in the whole apartment was stolen?
Nothing. No money, no VCR, not even my jewelry.
Maybe Tony thinks you still have the note.
My brother did not break into my apartment. There's nothing in this apartment Tony wants. I'm going to bed.
If he's involved in this, Katie, you better tell me. Because you can't save him.
Come back here.
You're funny.
There you go.
You're funny.
Wave, say hi, Mom. Tell your mom you love her. There you go.
Hey, who's the #1 mom in the world? Yay!
Yeah, way to go. So, tell me why you want to be the most beautiful cop in Baltimore.
Come on, Tony. I don't know.
Come on.
Okay, I guess I just want to do something good, you know? Something meaningful. My dad always thought that I wasn't smart enough, you know, for really anything. He always told me I should be a model or marry well or something, so... You know, I know he'll deny it, but he always said he wanted a son. All he got was me.
Yeah.
Hey, Lana wants to see you.
Close the door, Tony. I heard you picked a fight with Howie Hogue. That wasn't too smart, was it?
Yeah, I guess not.
Wasn't too smart to put the body in the dumpster either. Would you see that on Starsky and Hutch?
I didn't know what else to do.
You tell your sister?
No, of course not. I'm not stupid.
I'm a little worried, Tony. There's a lot of balls up in the air right now. I gotta know if you're part of the team.
Hey, I was in on the Wiley thing, Gus. I can keep secrets, man. You can count on me.
That's good, Tony. Because one of these days, your sister's gonna come to you and ask what you know. And it could be real hard on you and her if you rat it. You can see that, can't you?
So you were away from home that night, Mrs. Frug?
I'm sorry. I'm so nervous. I've never been in court before.
Just take your time, relax, take a deep breath.
Well, yes. I didn't get home from my sister's till about 7. And then I had to walk the dog. I didn't want her piddling all over the Afghan. We have a regular route we always take. And that night, it was snowing. Let's go, baby. No, careful now. It's slippery. Come on. Come on.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Frug. Your witness.
No questions.
Dr. Angelo, can you fix the time of Miss Hill's death?
Not precisely. Because the victim was exposed to the elements, it makes the estimate more difficult. However, I would say the death occurred sometime between 4:30 and 8:30 that day.
So, if the killer arrived at, say, 4:30 and the fatal blow was delivered soon after, isn't it odd that Mrs. Frug heard a cry at 7 p.m.?
Not at all. She might well have heard a death rattle.
A death rattle? Would you explain that to the jury, please?
Of course. It is an involuntary spasm in the vocal box. Typically, it's caused by an increased acidity in the blood following death. The noise is strange, a rasping whoop, almost like a bark.
Now, is it within medical possibility that this death rattle could occur up to 2 hours after the actual death?
No, it is very possible.
So it's also possible that the death could have occurred 2 hours earlier, say at 5 o'clock, 30 minutes after the killer arrived.
Yes, I would say so.
Thank you.
Jamie, file a motion to exclude that prostitution evidence that Klein's trying to get in.
Why didn't you cross-examine Angelo about the death rattle?
Oh, see what you can find out about Costa and prostitutes.
Great. I get the hooker detail.
It's a chick thing. There was no blood in Acosta's car. Angelo couldn't explain that. Why'd you let him off the hook?
Harry, juries go deaf when you try too hard to explain something that isn't. Besides, the death rattle may help us.
How? How could it possibly help us?
I figure it out, I'll let you know.
This report details the components of gold scrapings found on the edge of the coffee table near the point where the victim's head made contact. Isn't that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Now, Doctor, on their own, there's nothing unique about these component parts, is there?
No, not on their own.
And do you think, Doctor, that it's possible that these gold scrapings came from the killer's jewelry as he pounded the victim's head into the table?
Well, yes, there is a possibility.
And you examined my client's jewelry, did you not?
Yes.
And you certainly did not find a direct match with the component parts of my client's jewelry with those submitted, did you?
No, no match.
You didn't talk about these scrapings in direct examination, did you? Why not?
I wasn't asked.
Well, Doctor, don't you wonder why you weren't asked?
Objection. Sustained. Move on, Mr. Medriani.
Well, just one more question, Doctor, just so we can be clear. Isn't it a fact there was nothing in your findings based on these comparisons that would link my client in any way to the killing?
Objection. That's a matter for the jury to decide, Your Honor.
For once we agree. No more questions.
Tell me again why I'm here.
The governor's here, which means the lady is here. And they'll see you here looking relaxed and confident. So just try and fake it. Where's Harry? Hi.
Hey. Wow. You look great.
Thanks. That's just what Paul was saying.
Nice tux, Harry.
There's the governor.
You might want to meet him. It'd be good for business.
He's wearing a piece.
How can you tell?
What, does that look like real hair to you?
I don't know. He's too far away.
Come on, let's go hear the music.
You look surprised, Catherine. Do you play?
Not piano.
You know, it's so nice that you all work together and play together. Aren't you a little worried about a conflict, Paul?
No, not at all.
And Harry, my goodness, how did you get in?
Coleman, aren't you going to introduce us to your mother?
It's all right. I'm used to people disliking my husband. All part of the job. Now, will you excuse us, please?
I'll be with you in just a moment, dear.
You're apologizing.
How do you think the case is going?
Oh, just dandy.
You know, you're not such a bad lawyer when you're not in jail. You know, you really put Steinkold through the ringer today. You had me worried.
What do you want, Coleman?
You haven't told me why Catherine went to Brittany's apartment. If she found something, she has a legal obligation to disclose it. And if it's exculpatory, well, mistakes sometimes happen.
We're mid-trial. Are you telling me that you've made a mistake?
No, what I'm saying is I need to know if she's hiding something. Now listen, you just talk to her. She'll listen to you. I mean, you must see the implications.
Yeah, I think I do. You're sorry you forgot to search under her bed.
Look, it's possible we can deal on this in private. Resolve it to everyone's satisfaction. Just talk to me. Enjoy the party.
Are you all right?
I think Klein had someone break into your apartment.
Look, I know this sounds crazy, but what if Klein knows that Lano killed Brittany, right? And he thinks that we have the evidence to prove it. You know, like Lano's jewelry or something like that.
But what, are you kidding? He's state's attorney. He's not going to jeopardize his career to help Lano. Hey.
Where's Lily? I asked her to stay home. She wasn't feeling well.
These are men's eyeglasses. The frame is bent, a temple screw is missing, and a lens is shattered. In my opinion, someone probably stepped on them.
Is there anything unique about this pair of glasses here?
Yes. The Spectrum 430 frame is very specialized. I've sold only 3 at my store.
May I, please? Did you sell one of those 3 pair to Mr. Acosta?
No.
To anyone named Acosta?
Yes.
To whom were they sold?
To Lily Acosta.
Now, is there anything unusual about the glass used in these lenses?
Yes, it's what we call high index glass. It is capable of taking a very high prescription value.
And what was the prescription?
Well, the correction for astigmatism was quite severe. The left eye was 3.25 diopters by 23 degrees. The right eye was 4.25 by 157 degrees.
And do you have on record the prescription for the defendant, Mr. Acosta?
Yes. It's the same prescriptions as those glasses right there.
Thank you.
I forgot about them. Lily bought them from Haslett as a gift for me. I wore them once and they broke. I'm sorry.
Do you remember now how they got into Brittany's apartment?
It's obvious. Police searched my house, they found them, and then they planted them.
How could the cops have planted glass from those lenses in Brittany's foot when they didn't even have those glasses?
When you cross-examine Dr. Haslett, make the point that when the glasses broke, I threw them in the garbage. When the police searched my home, they found them. And since they wanted to pin me with the rap anyway, here we are.
Armando, that sounds so far-fetched that even I don't believe it. And you're paying me a lot of money to believe you.
The truth is, I did not kill Brittany Hill. Whatever it takes for you to prove that serves the truth.
The truth is, the state has just met its burden of proof. That is the truth.
Maybe it's time to seek new counsel.
We just been fired?
Don't ask me.
Excuse me, can I talk to you? I want some information on Armando Acosta, do you know?
But I had this friend, she knew him.
Oh, yeah? Is she around here tonight?
Nuh-uh, no, she don't trick no more. She swore that off. I ain't gonna do this on the regular either. I'm gonna quit too.
Well, what's her name? Where can I find her?
Oh, that's Marcy Jelks.
Marcy Jelks.
But I don't know where she at. But I do know she really likes him. Oh yeah, him and his Beamer. Hey, baby. Hey, what's up?
Thanks.
Did you talk to the judge about changing lawyers? Do you really think he'll grant you a continuance so a new lawyer can get up to speed? You haven't done it in 21 years on the bench.
Be easier if you stayed.
Are you asking me to stay?
Be easier if you stayed.
You guys kiss and make up?
Your Honor, Mr. Klein has been called away on urgent business. He's asked me to handle this morning's special interrogation. With your permission?
Yes, of course, Miss Hollander. Mr. Klein explained the circumstances to me last night. You may proceed.
What's this all about? Why isn't Klein doing the examination himself? I don't know. We're dead.
Your Honor, this is Dr. Ellen Darton, a child psychologist. She would like to sit next to Kimberly during testimony.
Objection, Your Honor. If we're going to put the child through this, I'd like her answers to be her own.
If you wouldn't mind sitting behind the railing, Dr. Darton.
Hi, Kimberly. Hi. Hi, I'm, Julie. Can you climb up here for me? Good girl.
Are you okay down there? You're not scared, are you? That's a mighty pretty dress you have on. What's your name, honey?
Kimberly Hill.
I have an important question for you, Kimberly. You know the difference between the truth and a lie?
The truth is what really happened. A lie is something you make up.
And you know which one is good?
Uh-huh. The truth.
Very good. Are you going to tell us the truth today? Only the truth?
Yeah.
You are a sweetheart. Your witness.
What's your bear's name?
He's not my real bear. He's my friend Diana's bear.
Who's your real bear?
Binky. He keeps all my treasures.
Kimberly, do you remember what happened the night your mommy was hurt?
Uh-huh. I hid in the closet because she and the man were yelling.
Did you see the man?
Uh-uh.
But you heard him.
He was very loud.
He said bad words, and something went crash in the bedroom. I closed my ears.
How long did you stay in the closet?
He went away. I heard the door close. It was quiet for a long time. So I went out. It was very dark. So I had to walk like the kiddies walk. And I talked to my mommy.
You talked to your mommy?
Uh-huh. She was lying next to Binky, but I couldn't wake her up.
What happened then?
I heard the man coming back, so I took Binky and we hid in the closet.
Did you see the man when he came back in the house?
No. Binky was dirty. Mommy got blood all over him. The police took him away. They said they'd give him a special bath.
Okay. The man is back in the house. What happened then?
I heard my mommy holler.
The death rattle.
Did you hear the man leave?
Uh-huh. But I stayed in the closet a long time. And it was lucky because he came back again.
He came back a second time?
Uh-huh. He looked in my room.
How do you know?
Because the closet door won't shut all the way. And I saw him.
Did the man stay a long time?
He was gone when Binky and me went back out. Mommy was gone too. Nana said she wasn't coming back. She's gonna have to love me from heaven. We can't see her, but she can see me. That's what it's like to be dead. I want Binky.
See? He's just fine. He's... No, sweetie, no, I can't let you have him. Honey, I can't let you have him.
Let her have it now.
It's okay, Binky. It's okay. It's okay, Mama's here.
Your Honor, objection. Can we please stop this? The child's testimony is obviously painful, and I am at a loss to see the value of continuing this.
Overruled. Miss O'Vander, let's get back to the issues, all right?
This is a very important question, Kimberly. Do you recognize the man's face from when he first came to the house or when you saw him from the closet?
Maybe.
Is he anywhere in this courtroom today? You take your time.
Would the defendant please rise?
No, next to him.
Any reason she'd recognize you?
I can't think of one. She's obviously confused.
Your Honor, may I?
Yes, please, someone.
I think this may be transference.
Nice word. Explain?
Kimberly knows someone in the courtroom is the bad guy. Mr. Madriani's objections were, well, they sounded nasty to her. So she simply picked him. It happens often.
Mr. Madriani, do try not to be so nasty in the future. We will all benefit. And I will explain transference to the jury. Thank you. Mr. Madriani, little girl had you sucking wind, huh?
Yeah.
The design cast into the hard metal of the coffee table underneath right there would leave distinctive tool marks in the softer gold jewelry. Find jewelry that matches the marks and you will have positive identification.
And did you find any such identifying tool marks in my client's jewelry?
No, none.
The prosecution expert couldn't find a chemical match either. So, if the jewelry had been torn off the killer, Why do you think the cops couldn't find it?
Objection. How would he know? The defendant could have found it and then thrown it away later.
Well, I would have thought the killer would have been too panicked to have thought of that.
Stop it. This is a trial, not a debate. Strike both counsel's comments. Mr. DeShield is a metals expert. Ask him about metals.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Klein?
Now, if you think this piece of jewelry was taken from the murder scene, then why would you expect it to be found in the bag of jewelry collected from the defendant's house?
Well, that's a valid point, but then I would expect the police would have found it at the scene.
You know, I didn't ask you to speculate as to what the police may or may not have found, Mr. DeShield.
You asked the question.
These tool marks, you're just guessing. You haven't actually seen the jewelry, have you?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Well, do you know where it is?
No. What do you mean?
Well, you just said you hadn't seen the jewelry yet, Mr. DeShield. It seems obvious that someone has. Your Honor, we have a right to know if the defense is withholding evidence.
Stop.
It's been an ongoing concern of ours.
Now! Counsel in my chambers. What the hell is this all about?
I have reason to believe that the item of jewelry is being held by Miss Rossetti. Her fingerprint was on the victim's door, Your Honor.
Do you have the missing item?
There was no such item, Your Honor. And if there were, you wouldn't be entitled to know about it anyway. Believe me, if I had something which proved my client innocent, you'd be the first to know.
He's lying, Your Honor. I moved to reopen the state's case so I can put Rossetti on the stand.
The state had every opportunity to call Ms. Rossetti during its case in chief.
Mr. Klein's fantasy about this piece of jewelry does not constitute newly discovered evidence allowing him to reopen.
Look, this is a gross violation of the rules of reciprocal discovery, Your Honor.
Calm down, Mr. Klein. Unless you have hard evidence that they have the jewelry, I cannot allow you to reopen. Stop swatting at butterflies. The motion is denied.
Excuse me, are you Marcy Jelks?
Yes.
You're a student here?
Yes. Who are you?
My name's Catherine Rossetti. I'm doing research for a criminal case involving Armando Acosta. I understand you know him.
Who told you that I did?
Well, it doesn't matter. But what I need to know is, have you been with him?
No. No, I never... I have to go now. Please don't come here again.
Marcy, wait!
It's simple, Harry. I just want the jury to wonder what else might have been written on Brittany's calendar.
You can't put Terry Franks on the stand as an expert witness. The guy is a joke. He's got no credentials. Everybody knows he's a hired gun.
Exactly. And I'm hiring him to say there was a post-it with another appointment on the calendar.
Well, you'll never get it in. Klein will scream hearsay. Hey, Catherine stole the note. Get her to testify.
Now, Klein will ask her if she went to the apartment alone. She'll be forced to say, I was there. I'll be taken off the case. I just want to create some reasonable doubt. Going after Tony. You got any objections to that?
Go after the brother, you may lose the sister.
Mr. Franks, you examined the calendar square on January 15th?
Uh-huh, yes.
What did you find?
Writing impressions. Sometimes impressions are left on a secondary surface when you write on a paper that's lying on top of it.
And were the impressions decipherable?
Objection. Inadmissible, Your Honor. This witness...
I'm only offering it for the fact that it was written.
I will allow it for that reason only.
Don't give us the content. Just tell us if you could read them.
Yeah, I could read them just fine.
And did you find anything else on the calendar square for January 15th?
Mucilage. It's like glue. The residue was very similar to what might be left behind by a Post-it note.
This is scientific quackery, Your Honor.
It'll also cost you $100, Mr. Klein. Stop snorting.
How many words could you make out, Mr. Franks?
Does the man's first initial in the time count as words?
Objection. Move to strike, Your Honor. This is outrageous.
Just answer the question. How many words? Anything beyond that, and you'll spend the night in jail. And you, stop reading the witness. You'll be in the cell next to him.
I apologize, Your Honor. How many words, Mr. Franks?
2 or 3 words, depending on how you count.
I have no more questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Klein?
It's customary when examining indented writing to take photographs. You didn't. Why?
I can read impressions without them.
Good for you. The problem is, without photographs, the jury only has your word. Isn't that so?
I had good reasons for not taking photographs, sir.
Forget to remove the lens cap?
That's another $100, Mr. Klein. Answer the question, Mr. Franks.
I'd be happy to, Your Honor. The reason is that photographs would have shown the message, and that would have been inadmissible. You said so yourself, sir.
I know I screwed up, Gus. I was just trying to do what you asked. I put the Coke under the lid of the toilet.
There's no harm done. You just have to learn to curb your style, Howie. I've never questioned your loyalty. You're my main man. If I had a son, I want him to be just like you. Now, look, let's go over what you're gonna say on the stand, huh? This Madriani's a tough character.
Yeah.
I know where you're going with this. I'm not gonna let you make Tony a suspect.
He is a suspect. He was there that night. He had the motive.
If you subpoena
I
him,
already have.
You actually think he killed her.
And so do you. Why else would you build this wall around him?
We're talking about my brother. I'm telling you, he didn't kill Brittany.
And I'm telling you that I am not going to sacrifice a Costa to save your brother.
Paul, please. Don't put him on the stand.
You knew the victim, correct?
Yes, we both worked in Vice. I mean, she was a reserve officer in training, part-time.
So it was merely a coincidence that you were on the scene at the dumpster?
That's correct.
And inasmuch as you knew her, did you make the body ID?
No, I didn't see her up close at first, not until after the ME got there.
Well, after the ME arrived and you saw who it was, did you make any calls or did you talk to anyone about Miss Hill's murder?
No, like I said, I didn't know it was her, not until later.
You didn't see the marks on her neck or the bloody towel on her head and tell anyone?
Well, yes, but not until after she'd already been identified.
Well, so you were at Miss Hill's apartment the night she was murdered, correct?
That's a lie.
In your official capacity, you weren't at the apartment following the murder?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I was part of the investigating team.
Well, what did you think I meant by the question?
I have no idea what you meant by the question.
Miss Hill called you 12 times in the month before her murder. You remember what you talked about?
No, not specifically. Probably about cases, strictly work-related.
And prior to her murder, had you ever been present at the apartment? You were having an affair, weren't you?
No, not at all.
Then how did your name appear on a note stuck to the victim's calendar for the date of the murder?
Objection! Assumes facts, not an evidence, Your Honor. May we approach?
We have a right to ask if you met with the victim that night.
There is no basis in evidence for such a belief, Your Honor. We request an instruction of the jury.
One question, Mr. Mr. Medriani, without the bald-faced innuendo. The jury disregard defense counsel's last question as if it had never been asked. Proceed, Mr. Medriani, and carefully.
Officer Rossetti, did you have a date with the victim on the evening of January 15th?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay, so to your knowledge, your name was not on a small poster that
Objection,
was
Your
in
Honor,
our
what is
cal-
this?
Sustained.
There was no such note.
Shut up! Don't answer a question I sustained an objection. Jury will disregard both the answer and the question. I will not allow you to dance around with this poster note when you can't prove it was there. And unless you have a good faith reason to believe it was, you'll be undergoing a cavity search by sunset. Now give it to me straight.
Your Honor.
Mr. Klein, shut up. Let him talk.
Your Honor, there is incriminating evidence that directly ties Tony Rossetti to the murder scene. At the very least, it's been found in his county assigned car.
What is this? Trial by ambush?
The car was not available for search until 2 days ago when we subpoenaed Officer Rossetti.
Are you sure about all this?
Yes. Forensics has made a very thorough examination.
It is a basis. And I should be allowed to ask if he had a date with the victim.
But, Judge, it's still a surprise.
What surprise? You're the prosecutor. Your detectives were at the crime scene. I don't have to do your job for you, do I?
All right. But I am concerned about the surprise element.
Your Honor.
Finish your direct with Rossetti, and bring on the experts who examined his car. That'll give the state enough time to prepare for cross-examination. Now, so much lunchtime. Get out of here and let me eat my Kentucky Fried Rattlesnake in peace. May I remind you, you are still under oath, Officer Rossetti?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you were investigating Miss Hill's apartment, the detectives were present at the actual scene of the homicide, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I mean, you were merely there to safeguard, right?
That's correct.
So, basically, Officer Rossetti, there was no reason for you to go into the living room. In fact, you never really went into the living room, did you?
No, I didn't. Detective Stobel asked me to check the windows and look for evidence of a burglary, stuff like that.
Then can you explain to me how strands of hair that correspond to the victims got into your police car? Can you do that for me? Can you share that with the jury?
I could have picked those up anywhere around her apartment. I don't know, maybe they stuck to my shoe.
Blanket fibers that precisely matched the fibers in the blanket that Miss Hill was wrapped in were also found in your car, and horsehairs. Did you pick all that up on your shoes, too?
I must have.
How about blood? Type A. Same as the victims.
There's a lot of blood in police cars, Mr. Madriani.
Well, the DNA report should clear up any confusion. So you picked all that up on those sticky shoes of yours, huh?
Yeah, I already answered that question. What are you, deaf or something?
Strike that last comment. Just answer counsel's question.
Isn't it true, Officer Rossetti, that you had a date with Miss Hill that night, that you were there hours earlier before you discovered her body in the alleyway?
No.
Isn't it a fact that you killed her?
No, that is a load of crap. I was never there.
What about the note for your date on her calendar?
She canceled it.
The date you swore under oath that you never made. I have no more questions, Your Honor.
Nice odds, boy. You got back your reasonable doubt.
Yeah. Well, I'm not entirely convinced he's our man, but his presence in the apartment could explain why the body was moved.
Well, let's get him back on the stand. We got hair, we got blood, we got fiber. Let's nail him.
Let's not tempt fate.
What are you talking about?
If we put him back up there, he could come up with a better explanation.
Like what?
Like, for instance, maybe he kept the date. Say he gets there around 7 or 7:15, and he knocks on the door, and there's no answer, and the door's open, so he goes in. And then he sees Brittany's body. He gets scared. He freaks out. He doesn't know what to do. Maybe he thinks Lano did it. Then he hears Brittany call out.
The death rattle.
Right.
So he thinks she's still alive?
Keep going.
What?
Well, he wraps her head in a towel, bundles her up in a blanket, puts her in her car. He's going to take her to the hospital.
And at some point along the way, he realizes she is dead. He's afraid to bring her back to the apartment, so he gets rid of her in the trash dumpster.
So why take the risk of him telling the jury that or something else?
Paul, we're just guessing here.
Let's leave it alone, Harry. I mean, you know, we got our reasonable doubt. We got some breathing room here. We got bigger problems. The glasses and the judge's name on her calendar.
Which leaves no other face on the killer but you.
Seems like we're right back where we started.
20 across the board, number 5, first race. Right.
What's a 3-letter word for Japanese sash?
Obi. Hey, let me ask you something. How can she afford a sailboat on an assistant state's attorney's salary?
It's her old man's. It died last year. I guess she inherited it.
So, when you two were going out, did you,
What?
Did you go sailing a lot?
No. It was stored. Besides, you know I don't go out on boats.
Right.
I don't swim, Harry, and I don't go out on boats.
And you don't apologize. Hey, Catherine.
I told the truth about my brother. You used him.
They had to use him. You're a lawyer! You know that! Lily? Need a ride? How'd you and the judge meet?
Well, it was in San Diego.
Huh?
I was the Sonora Beer Girl in 1971.
Really?
Yeah. So Armando saw the poster somewhere, and he told his brother, I am going to marry that woman. But anyway, he told me, I'm the one you've been waiting for. And I told him, I'm sorry, but I wasn't waiting for anybody. So then he said, Lily, it's already been decided. And we married at Coronado Beach. Only his brother came. My family couldn't afford the trip, so. Thank you.
Bye.
¿Qué ha pasado?
No sé.
What did you and Brittany talk about that evening? Lily. You ride horses. That's why they found horsehair in the apartment and on that blanket. And that's why I found horsehair on my jacket last night. That appointment was with you.
I was trying to convince her not to make charges against my husband. He wouldn't let me tell you.
Why not, Armando?
Coleman Klein. Do you love your husband, Mrs. Acosta? Yes, very much. So much that you would try to make a witness change their story? A felony offense? Well, yes. Can you prove that you went to Brittany's apartment that day, Miss Acosta? No. Now, let me understand this correctly. You'd been carrying your husband's glasses for 4 months. Then, while chatting with Miss Hill, they sort of jumped out of your purse, and you didn't notice it. Do you really expect us to believe any of this, Miss Acosta? The jury would have thought you were trying to save me from my own guilt. It would have done much more harm than good.
How can I impress upon you the fact that you are a defendant here, not a judge? You are not running your courtroom deciding what evidence stays in and what evidence goes out.
The truth is much more damaging than the lie.
Not if the jury believed her, and they would have believed her because she's telling the truth. But you've denied her that option, Judge. See? And now I'm all boxed in. And I don't know what to do.
Then I'll testify. Like you say, Counselor, they'll believe me because I'm telling the truth.
Really? Are you going to tell the truth about the glasses? See, I won't let a witness take the stand if I know he's going to lie.
Without proof, you're legally obligated to let me testify. Reed Smith versus Wilson, 1977.
You're slipping, Judge. That was overturned in 1989. Jones versus Michigan. If an attorney has reasonable grounds to assume that his client is lying, he does not have to put him on the stand. You are, and I won't.
It's my life at stake.
No. It's your ego. You want to show the jury who's boss. But see, if you do, the jury's going to show you the inside of this jail cell for the rest of your life, and that's if you're lucky. I won't let you testify.
Paul, put him on the stand. It's already been decided.
Mr. Madriani, call your next witness.
I call Armando Acosta to the stand. That's a nice suit, Judge.
Thank you. Cost me a fortune.
Judge, did you go to the Fairmont Hotel the night of January 10th of this year?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury why?
Brittany Hill had promised to give me information concerning corruption in the Vice Squad and the murder of my former law clerk.
And did she give you that information?
No.
Was she wearing a wire?
She was wearing transparent lingerie. There was no place to hide a wire.
And were you surprised by what she was wearing or not wearing?
Yes.
Did she offer you sex?
No. Never, and I never asked for it.
Judge, do you know any prostitutes?
Yes, several.
You know Marcy Jelks?
Yes. I met her on Mason Street. She was cruising for John's.
What does she do now?
She's finishing junior college and plans to attend a university.
Did you ever have sex with her?
No, never.
Now, how did she get from the street back into the classroom?
I helped her.
I can't hear you.
I helped her.
Louder so the jury can hear you.
I helped her.
Isn't it a fact that you paid for her apartment, for her clothes, and gave her financial support for her to go back to school?
Yes.
And wasn't she a frequent guest of you and Mrs. Acosta in your home?
Yes.
And have you done this for other women in similar situations?
Yes.
For Mary Lewin, now a mother of 3 in Boston?
Yes.
For Jennifer Glazer, now an assistant DA in Portland?
Yes.
For Jesse Davenport, now a basketball coach at Cal State LA?
Yes.
That's just to name 3. Did you tell anyone you did this?
No, never. It was nobody's business. And I asked the ladies not to mention it either.
Well, they broke their promise, Judge. There's a number of them here today.
Objection, Your Honor. It's his witness. I'll allow it. Sit down, please, ladies.
Why did you help these women?
My sister was a prostitute in Mexico City. She helped feed our family. She died of a cocaine overdose.
Where were you January 15th between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m.?
I was walking in a secluded area.
Did you see anyone?
No.
Did you call anyone, or did anyone call you?
I don't believe in cellular phones.
Did you go to Brittany Hills that afternoon?
No. I've never been there, ever.
So why did Brittany Hill have your name on her calendar for 4:30?
The police might have forged it.
Objection, Your Honor. Opinion. No conclusions, Mr. Acosta. You should know better than that.
I have no idea.
Could it have been your wife that Miss Hill was meaning to meet?
No. She was at home.
How do you know? You said you were just out wandering around.
Because I know my wife's habits. On Tuesdays, she comes home from riding. She takes a shower, she takes a nap, and then she prepares dinner.
I mean, you were out wandering around, so you don't know that for sure.
Not in the strictest sense, but...
Isn't it a fact that your wife went there that afternoon at 4:30 to talk Miss Hill out of testifying against you on the solicitation charge?
Objection. Witness doesn't have a clue as to his wife's whereabouts.
Sustained.
The witness will keep silent unless asked a question. You understand?
Yes, perfectly.
Did you buy your wife a purse for Christmas, Judge?
A purse?
Yeah, that's right, a purse.
Yes.
What's wrong with that purse?
Nothing is wrong with that purse. She adores it. She uses it constantly.
But isn't it a fact that the purse is quite deep and the top flap quite small? So she has to remove things from the top in order to retrieve things from the bottom.
You can ask 1,000 men how their wives use their purse. Maybe one might know.
Your Honor, please instruct my client to answer the question.
You will answer the question, Judge. Mr. Acosta?
I've never noticed.
You bought the purse without ever bothering to look at it?
Of course I looked at it.
And you never saw her take anything out of her purse that she adored and used constantly?
Yes, I've seen her use it, but didn't register as a problem.
Is your wife an emotional person?
Objection. What does this have to do with anything?
It will be crystal clear in a moment, Your Honor. Has it been painful for your wife to see you go through this?
Yes, she loves me very much.
Painful enough to appeal to Miss Hill on your behalf?
How many times do I have to answer this question?
Just answer the question.
Your Honor, the defense is impeaching his own witness.
I agree. I ask the court permission to treat him as a hostile witness.
Go for it.
This is outrageous.
Shut up, Mr. Acosta. Unless you wish to be held overnight in the general population, where some of the inmates may remember you. You will simply answer the questions.
Yes. It is within the distant outside realm of dimmest possibilities that my wife might have gone on my behalf, but she didn't.
But it's possible. The glasses the police found in Miss Hill's apartment, they were yours, correct?
Apparently.
Isn't it possible that your wife had your glasses in her purse because the temple screw had fallen out and she needed to get them repaired?
I wore them once, they broke. I have no idea what she did with them.
Oh, I think you do know. Your wife went to talk to Miss Hill that day, to plead with her not to destroy your career, and she got emotional, to the point of tears. And when she went to look for a tissue in her purse, she had to take the glasses out of her purse. And in her distress, she simply forgot to put the glasses back in her purse. She kept that appointment
Not you. She left the glasses there, not you. Isn't that true?
No. These are improper questions. You're leading the witness. You're putting words in his mouth. This is not a cross-examination. You idiot.
Your Honor, order him to answer the question.
When this lawyer asks me intelligent questions, I'll answer.
Shut up and sit down, all of you.
That went well, don't you think?
Who were those women in the gallery? Only recognized Marcy Jelks.
Most of them came from Capital Casting. $100 a head.
Hi. Can I come in? I was in court on Wednesday. Look, I understand why you were lying in there, but what aren't you telling me?
I can't tell you anything.
Did you steal the gun they used to kill Zach Wiley?
Nobody told me what it was gonna be used for. Zach was trying to stop the whole drug thing from going down. It was Howie Hogue who shot him, all right? I didn't do a damn thing.
Tony, you let an innocent kid take the rap for it. What was this drug thing going down?
You don't get it, Kath. If something ever comes out, they'll know I ratted. These guys, they don't mess around. Look what happened to Howie.
What happened to Brittany?
I don't know, but I didn't kill her, all right? I asked her to marry me. Why the hell would I want to kill her?
You asked her to marry you?
When I got there that night, I thought she was still alive. I was trying to save her life. Nobody ever loved her but me.
Who are these guys, Tony? I need to know. It's the only way to protect you.
It was mostly vice, swiping nickel bags, stuff like that, harmless. But then they kind of organized. It went way up from there.
How high up? Who was in on it?
Mr. Acosta, are you trying to blame your wife for the murder of Brittany Hill?
No, of course not.
Then can you tell me why your lawyer was implying that this note, this Post-it note, referred to her and not you?
I have no idea.
Well, if it were your wife who went to Brittany's apartment that afternoon, wouldn't that implicate her as a potential killer?
That's preposterous.
I agree. I must therefore assume it was Mr. Madriani who scripted that sordid little drama. For you, at least, it seems to be, well, it seems to be out of character. Where were you born?
Relevance.
It will be crystal clear in a moment, Your Honor.
Mexico City.
And could you tell us a little more, maybe describe your house, your education, your family's economic status?
My father was critically injured in a copper mining accident. He couldn't work. We had no money. None of us went to school.
And your house?
Well, it was basic.
Yes, well, tin shacks are pretty basic. Did you have any electricity, indoor plumbing, heat, telephone, that sort of thing?
I find these questions to be distasteful and painful. Do I have to answer them?
Move on, Mr. Klein.
After your father died, you came to this country. You were 10. You had no money, no education, no economic prospects. Is this all true, Judge Acosta?
Yes.
Yet, 30 years later, you were sworn in as a circuit court judge, the youngest judge ever, the first Hispanic judge ever. Since then, your judicial record has been superlative. The American Judicature Society described you as, quote, a towering force of judicial fairness. Along the way, you served your adopted country in Vietnam, earning the Silver Star. Is this all true, Judge Acosta?
Yes, you make it sound better than it actually was, I'm afraid.
It's the American dream. And how have I made it sound better than it was? So, this magnificent career, begun in the filthy alleys and barrios of Mexico City, suddenly crashed on the rocks in room 3203 of the Fairmont Hotel. Everything that you had worked so hard for was suddenly in jeopardy. And who was responsible? You? No, not you. Brittany Hill had done this to you. And in that moment, did you not realize with blazing clarity that she had to die?
No, that's a lie.
You went to her apartment that night to talk her out of testifying against you. At first, you tried to seduce her, but she knew why you had really come.
Objection. Overruled.
Your Honor, is he a mind reader now?
Overruled. Mr. Madriani, sit down. Continue, Mr. Klein.
You sat up there. You knew that power, that authority, and now this cheap slut was ruining you. She ran from you, trying to hide in the darkness, but she couldn't escape. You grabbed her from behind and you tried to choke her, but she was too strong. Is that when she knocked her glasses off? And then you dragged her to her knees and you slammed her head against the coffee table so ferociously you drove fragments of her skull into her brain.
No. I never murdered her.
The horror overwhelmed you. There was so much blood. At first, you panicked and you ran. But then a cold, self-serving reason prevailed and you came back. You wiped away your fingerprints, you retrieved the jewelry you had lost, you wrapped her in a blanket and you carried her to your car. And finally, in an act of despicable contempt, you dumped her like garbage into a trash bin. Is that not so, Mr. Acosta?
No. It's not so.
I have no more questions.
Let's take a half-hour break. This court will come to order. Mr. Madriani, you have any redirect?
I do, Your Honor.
Proceed.
I would like to present prosecution's evidence, item number 13, the teddy bear.
Your Honor, objection. My cross had nothing to do with the teddy bear.
It was part of the murder scene which the prosecution so graphically described, and it is splattered with Miss Hill's blood.
I'll allow it. But you better have a clear purpose, Mr. Madriani.
Have you ever seen this teddy bear, Judge?
Only in this courtroom.
And did you hear in this courtroom Kimberly Hill say Binky keeps all her treasures?
Yes.
I demand to know where this is going, Your Honor. This is insane! He's destroying state's evidence!
You need sufficient cause before tampering with evidence. Then you ask the court's permission. You know better, Mr. Madriani.
You're right, Your Honor. I must have lost my head. Is this yours, Judge?
No. I don't wear cufflinks. They're too pretentious.
I agree. Your Honor, I'd like to admit this piece of gold jewelry into evidence.
Seal and remark those items. Then put them in a separate evidence bag. Next time you pull a stunt like that, you're gonna lose your license. This court is recessed until tomorrow.
Yeah, hi. This is Tony Rossetti. Yeah, I'd like to order a pizza for delivery. Yeah, sausages, pepperoni, peppers, onions, 3 cheeses. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
I wouldn't do that. There's a block of C4 connected to the on-off circuit. Be ashamed to waste such a nice TV. You might want to call the bomb squad.
Is this the Peel Museum? Yeah, could you please connect me to the planetarium?
It's gouges on the side. Those are tool marks.
Yeah. Would you give me the exact time that the sun set last January 15th? I'll wait.
See, it's an interesting design.
6:09 p.m. Thank you.
I don't know, is this supposed to mean something?
Turn it on its side. That's a backwards C.
CK? That can't be right. Coleman Klein?
Klein killed Brittany. Kimberly hit his cufflink in the teddy bear. In Cross, Klein said it was dark in Brittany's apartment. Only the killer would know that.
No wonder he was so nuts about the jewelry. It was his cufflink.
He must have thought Catherine found it in the apartment. That's why he was drilling me at that governor's party.
Just a moment. So, did Catherine put the cufflink in the teddy bear, Paul, or was it just a lucky guess?
It's just a guess. You had us beat.
No, you would have won. Did you catch the slip about finding her in the dark? You're very good. Brittany was going to tell my wife. She threatened me with a sexual harassment suit, which would have been ruinous. Sandra loves me very much, and I couldn't let her down. I didn't mean to hurt Brittany. Things just, they got out of hand.
I just called the police. They're on their way.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's just hope it's the good cops, not the bad cops.
I think you should put that down.
How do we become so obsessed with horsehairs and carpet fibers? I mean, how do we lose track of what's really important? I mean, I haven't the slightest clue!
You're a bright man, Coleman. Your life doesn't need to end now.
I don't think a state's attorney has much longevity in prison, do you? Oh, God, I should have pursued music. I mean, it was something that I truly loved. It's a full confession. Should make it easier for you. And for Sandra.
Klein wasn't there for Kimberly's testimony because he was afraid she might identify him.
Yep. See ya, Coleman. How about Gus Lano? His trip out of town was perfectly timed, don't you think?
I don't think Gus Lano made it out of town.
doing?
Just a moment, sir. What do we have here?
Hey, whoa, that's not mine.
You better come with us, sir.
You guys. I told you to give that stuff to the police.
Leo gave it to Lano. He's the police. Anyway, I think the DEA is going to want to know a lot more about Gus than where he got those drugs, like maybe murder. What?
You know what?
Where are you going?
I got one more bet to make. Hey.
Hi.
Harry thinks I'm a schmuck.
I've always liked Harry.
Got a minute?
Congratulations. You won the big one.
Thanks.
I heard what happened to Clyde. Can't say I'll miss him. How's your face?
Well, between you and Howie Hogue, I may need a little reconstructive surgery, but I'll be okay. I'm sorry, Katie.
Me too.
Listen. I don't shoot guns and I don't sail boats. I don't even know how to swim.
You don't swim?
Do you ever remember us going to the beach? But I bet you could teach me.
What the hell are you good at?
Well, I'm pretty good at the basics. But I'm a real slow learner.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think anything will change when you come before my court again. No loose rulings, no favors, none of that.
Just so you know, Judge, I've got an appeal pending on Naomi Lang.
You're lucky I'm not the appellate judge. You're gonna have to prove self-defense.
If you want to relook at the evidence,
telling you,
Judge, we can discuss it.
I'm really hungry.
Thank you. I owe you my freedom.
Thank you. You took a long shot on me as a lawyer. I'm glad you're not the appellate judge.
I think a toast is in order.
Here, here.
Para salud, para justicia, para amor, y tiempo para gozarlo.
What the hell does that mean?
To health, to justice, and to love, and the time to rejoice in it.
Oh, I'll buy that.